It's not.
We are live now.
Are
Now,
we? Yes. No. Are we?
yes, we are.
All
We're
right.
alive. Brosis, we're alive.
Awesome.
Speaking.
So let's do a brief introduction of, I would say, me and you and how we got this idea, because I think that's the most important thing that we need to start talking about.
For sure.
So, um, I actually I want to hear how you came into this idea of presenting, because this is like everything that we do, right? Like everything that we do is encompassed here with what we're bringing, in these conversations. Even if we pick a specific topic, like, we usually talk about, I don't know, Atlantis, or, Project Paperclip, or, 5D Ascension. All those things are separate topics that are like all encompassed here. So what was the moment where you started thinking about this, and then you infected me with the idea? Because I know
As
we
it was
felt it
me.
both together in our fields.
Well, first of all, we talked a lot about this. And second of all, I see right now a tendency of people throwing out information, and people is losing their head. I'm even losing my head. So those conversation you and I had always brought me back and showed me this red thread in all things. So I was thinking we gotta come out with this. We gotta speak about this and get some more people in this and get the information out and try to maybe gather the puzzles in a more gentle way with not so much fear and angry and all this, but just deliver the message in a very humble and simple way, kind of, with a little sprit of spirituality.
Yeah, I think that's it. That's because people are tired of how complex this thing seems, and it's going to
Yeah.
continue to be complex because it's like
It's
a
the plan.
right. And that's why we call it the rabbit hole, because it's such a complex thing. And it's like science, the conventional science that we know. It's very, very complicated, and not everybody can understand it. But once you get into the sacred science and, like sacred geometry, it's like, I mean, it's not super simple, but it's a lot easier to understand the fabric of the universe this way. And in the
Mhm.
same way, I think this reality that we're trying to decode right now needs to be practical for people.
Yeah, for sure.
And
That's important.
there's people and there's specialists talking about, specific things. Like we said, there's people in suppressed history who do a great job, ufology, this and that. But how is this all practical when we try to live our lives and try to also discover things that were hidden? Because I think, like we were talking about before, and that's one of the first points that I wanted to share. It's like how the reason why we're in this mess is because for thousands of years we have been covered into this illusion of reality. And the
Mhm.
illusion is not so much the physical world. Like the physical world is always there. Nature is there. Humans are there. I mean, we live in nature. This is not an illusion per se. It's the idea of what humans are. And the best way to describe this, or even put it into perspective, is the three questions that we always ask. Who are we, where we come from, and what's our purpose? Nobody knows. Well,
Not yet.
conventionally, not yet. So these basic things is what we're discovering right now, because they were hidden from us. And that's all
Yeah.
through history, science, understanding of the self. And that's why, spirituality is such an important thing, because spirituality has always been the idea that, there's a religion or a dogma that you need to follow. Otherwise, it's like you need to progress in this school of learning, where it's
Yeah.
not. All you need to progress is like internally. But I'm getting ahead of myself here.
Yeah, a little bit.
um
Slow down.
yeah. But that's the point,
It's the
and
revealing of the illusion, kind of, right?
right. And
Yeah.
that confusion, and you're a lot more involved in this, like all these conspiracy theories that are going on because they have a point. But how do you manage? Because I tell you something, one thing that I always admire of you is like how specific you can be, with your own center, with so many things that you're investigating and so many things that you're researching, because all these things are chaotic. So,
Yeah, they
this is
really are.
part of it.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
Well, first of all, I deal with it with not saying that there is one truth, not claiming that this is truth, or this is true, or this is true, but keep my mind open to whatever, and then learn from it, and then out of the information that I get and all the things and messages I get, I'm like trying to coordinate my own truth. First of all, like do my inside, like my soul, resonate with this, or am I just jumping on another train with some other people and follow whatever? So for me, it is super important to be aware of my own truth, and first of all start with working with myself and my own truth and all my own inner conspiracy theories about myself, and then get detached to that. And then whenever I have information from the outside, I filter that too, and also get detached to it. So I'm not attached to all these informations, and I guess I'm not attached to the truth and to knowing the truth and wanting the truth, because I believe that like understanding and knowing and all these mind games is up here, and we have to like travel down here and start to work with this, and then start to direct with that. So that's how I try to direct myself in this complete mess, because it is a complete mess. Like so much information. I think it's intentionally, and I think our job here, or I can speak for myself, is really to direct myself in the mess and clean my own mess, because it's all just a reflection of myself in the end. So that's
This
how
is
I feel.
I think you just said the hardest thing that for most people is, the idea of finding center, and resonate,
Yeah,
whatever resonates with you. And this is a practice that for a lot of us has been lost because of the way we have been trained or indoctrinated. If you think
exactly.
about it, if we find the truth, and this is the problem too,
Yes.
trying to find the truth is that I need authority. We need, if it's a medical issue, we need the health authorities,
Yes.
and it's so simple to design a structure where if you think about, say, the health industry right
Yeah.
away, like, what's the maximum authority in the world? If you own that, you control the narrative. Easy. It's
Exactly.
like, I mean, if you have manipulative intentions, that's what it happens, and that's what we're seeing right now, that all these power structures are starting to be revealed for what they are, and a lot of times, some people may believe still in the World Health Organization at this point. That's fine. If that's what resonates with them, then
Yeah.
that's their path. They have something to learn, whether it be very shocking or mild or whatever. But that's the thing, and it really is how you train yourself to see what resonates with you or doesn't.
Yeah.
And while we'll probably finish with this point, but I'm just going to mention it, that while we do have a place where we should always be standing, we also need to travel the rabbit hole a little bit, because otherwise we'll be really confused with what's happening. And that's, I think, what the idea of traveling this rabbit hole of conspiracy theories, and I mean, everything right now is a conspiracy theory. Not even the official narrative, to me, it is.
Everything is a conspiracy theory. I totally agree. Like everything.
Yeah.
Everyone is a conspiracy theorist, and I think it's beautiful. I know that some people won't admit that, but everyone is a conspiracy theorist nowadays, because no one knows what's truth and what's not truth. And I think that is hilarious. I think that's beautiful.
I love it. This is what's happening. I mean, think about it. People are finding their own truth.
Yeah,
And
for
to do
sure.
that, you have to defy everything else. you
Yeah,
know I have my own thing. I mean, me and you believe in two different things,
yeah,
and
For
the
sure.
the beauty of it is that we can get along with that. And actually, you can tell me, like, have you ever considered this in your reality being wrong? And I'm like, no, but it would be interesting if it is, and that's why I think it's important to say that this is a game,
Yeah.
you know.
It is a game for sure. And what you say there with me telling you this, you're not taking it as your truth. Like just because I'm saying it to you, it doesn't mean it's your truth. And I think that is really important in this time because we cannot just throw things at each other and say, take this and believe this and live after this. We gotta feel into it. And we gotta, first of all, take responsibility for ourselves before we can go with anything else. I believe that. So yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's
that's the beauty about that.
this is what I always say, like, have strong opinions. You should have very strong opinions, but hold them loose. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
just never believe. And even right now, I mean, being 100% sure of something, it's that you have problems.
Yeah.
You can't be 100% sure of anything.
No.
So,
And I think it's the
that's
ego that wants to believe that. And in that, we get a little bit manic about it and sometimes angry, and we create this polarity instead of just meeting each other in each other's differences and saying, okay, you mean that, I mean this, let's drink from each other. Let's have a conversation about those two things and then meet instead of fight. And that's really important in a time of this where everybody is like boo boo boo, like come together in the differences instead of like pointing fingers and creating that gap between each other. That's something we gotta learn in this time. I believe that.
maybe this is the best time to learn that if you think about it. And I never thought about it. Now that you're saying it, makes a lot of sense because, say, in the past we could get along between different groups and opinions and things, and you like a sport team, I like another one, but now it's like we're fighting for reality, for truth, and it's a training ground for people to know that we are all alone in our truth, and all
Yeah.
we can do is to share what we believe with others who believe different so we can learn from it.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
think that's where the essence comes from, this whole paradigm that we're living right now.
Yeah.
And this what do conspiracy theories teach us? It's just that there's something not clear about what they're telling us, even if it's another theory or another explanation or another narrative. They're always showing you something like doubt this, doubt that,
Yeah.
and you can start feeling what it is, and the more informed you are, the better.
Yeah, for sure. And that's also why we make this, to start
Yes.
open up and to start make a container for what you and I are talking about. And we want to involve other people in this project, whatever we call it, the Viking Brosis, which is perfect. We just gotta throw a lot of information out there, more information, and it's up to people who's watching to believe us or not. But this is what we're doing.
Yeah. I would say that the most important thing is for everybody to know that in the end, traveling down whatever rabbit hole you want to go in, it's only for information. And people may not resonate with this, but I think it's fun.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of fun to go through it. There's some really, for sensitive people, they're starting to show a lot of information that is, even to me, and how crude I am, and raw I am with information. But sometimes even I get a little thing in my stomach, and I'm like, they really do that? Like, that's
Yeah.
crazy,
Yeah.
But don't get too involved emotionally in anything, because in the end, and I think this is where a lot of people are failing, talking to some of my clients and other people that reach out to me, is that they are too invested in this physical reality and
Yeah.
the chaos that we're living, too invested. And this brings a lot of anxiety, because this is probably a very important thing. The more invested you are into your identity of who you are, talking about the physical reality, this tangible thing that we are, the more invested you are, anything that threatens or puts in danger your notions of how life should be, it's going to make you become fearful, because you want to preserve this integrity that you are. But if you start living more into the ethereal, being of who you are, that spiritual part, then you get a better understanding that this is nothing. This is just an experience. And that's why we call it the human experience, And I mean, there's a lot to talk about this, but just to get the notion that
what we
so invested here, you're going to get so confused and anxious and depressed and, oh my God, all these things are happening. You need to take a step back and realize, who you are at the core. And I mean, there are many tools for people to start doing this, and thankfully, most people are doing it. Most people who are into this are doing it, with meditation and reading, finding, their own essence, which I think is the most important thing. But that's the problem that I see mostly with navigating this, and I hope what we can bring to them kind of makes sense for them to understand, like travel the rabbit hole with us a little bit, in certain sectors, and then come out and say, okay, I don't live in that rabbit hole. That is just what's making my physical reality and experience. And I would say, like, to me, if I could describe it in an animated way, that's what I would like to do with people both together. Just bring them down the rabbit hole. It's like a trip. We go there, we experience it, we kind of learn a little bit, get out, go back to our greatness.
Yeah.
You like that?
Like that. Sounds great. Let's do it. That's a good idea. That's what we will do here. Like, it's not all spirituality, and it's not all conspiracy theories, and it's not all Bill Gates, it's everything. It's everything in one, and without creating this polarity and without creating these fear-based thoughts around it. Like, let's just normalize it as best as possible. And I really believe that this time is for us opening our mind to more than the fifth senses we have been trapped in, so that we are exploring that and diving into that rabbit hole together. And with all of those people who's interesting to do it with us, let's do it. Why not?
Yes, I love it.
It is the time for it.
Let me ask you something.
Yes,
because let's go a little bit on the rabbit hole of our COVID-19. Just a little bit. Where do you stand there in what makes sense the most to you into what we're living?
Which aspect do you want me to answer from? Can you be more concrete here? Like I could say that it's a hoax, first of all, but there is so much more to that. That one.
Beyond that, let's go higher. From a higher dimension. Like, it's no matter what we agree, from the hoax to the full virus thing. What is like the purpose from a spiritual standpoint, like from another dimension, from another consciousness level? What's this causing in people from a conscious level?
What this is causing?
Yeah, like, why is this happening, to planet Earth in general?
Well, it's this, this Maya, this illusion that we were talking about, that is, universe has tried to hit us in the head like a lot of times in many generations now, and it seems like we didn't really get it. So when we don't get it and we don't understand that what we see outside is the same that we feel inside, universe will keep like slapping us in the head. And I see this virus and this COVID is like a massive beat up and say, like, wake up and understand that you are more than this physical reality that you have been identifying yourself with. And it's like, and it's infecting us. It's even a virus. Like, I mean, virus is like an upgrading of your own immune system and your own body. It's like when you get out of a virus, you're more powerful than when you went into the virus. So I really believe this is like an upgrade of the human experience and our own illusion of who we really are and have the capacity to be. And that's how I see it. Do you see the same?
Yeah, why do you
You
think I'm
laugh.
smiling here? And I'm like, yes, yes,
Yeah,
because you just said it. I think that's the thing that I agree the most. Forget about, I mean, could be anything. There's a spectrum of possibilities, and that's why conspiracy theories are all, whatever. From the real thing that came from, some Chinese people eating bats, all the way to that this is a complete hoax. It doesn't matter.
no,
Whoever is right doesn't matter because it is creating a reality. It's creating a virus. And you said it best when you said that it is a virus, whether it's biological or not. It's
doesn't
a
matter.
mental virus that everybody got. And the question is, how are you going to survive it?
Yeah,
Your immune system is actually like your spiritual immune system. How do you deal with the situation? Not the physical thing, but just like the whole situation. How do you deal with your family? How do you deal with your parents? How do you deal with your pets, your neighbors? How do you deal with your friends online? How do you deal with your notion of politics and the
yeah,
future and so many things? This is like shaking our foundations and saying like, what are you gonna do? What are you
yes,
gonna do? And
yeah.
you're like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? I never thought about this.
It's like this destruction of the status quo almost. And it's like, yeah, it's, yeah, for sure. Keep speaking. I lost the thread.
Yeah. No, it's because that's what it is. I mean, nothing is real right now. Nothing. And people say, "Oh yeah, everything's real." I'm still holding on to the physical reality. But you're not. I mean, you can't leave the house. You want to
Yeah,
go to a concert, you can. Remember when that used to be part of our reality? It's not anymore. You want to hang out with friends at a park? Oh, guess what? You can. You may be arrested for that. I mean, everything's breaking down to show you, like, forget about the outside world. The outside world it's in chaos right now.
doesn't matter. Yeah. It's a
And
huge test. It's a huge test. I remember what I said. Like, it's a test about, like, as you said, with not going out. And it's like also a test about our boundaries. Like, how far can we go with this until we want to wake up and feel and take that responsibility for that insight and see, like, what we see there and what there is presenting to us. That's also us. So it doesn't matter all this noise around us. What matters is what's in here and what we are reacting to it or how we react to it. Do we go through it, or are we just giving up? Like, that's how I see it.
yeah, and you know what this mixes to, which is pretty cool to add in, that there is a physical breakdown, like you said, even, this upgrade that we're feeling. There is a physical upgrade or breakdown, depending on how people are taking it. Because let's go back to how the human body works. The human
Yeah.
body works with emotions, like health in general. Everything is emotion based. Okay. And if people are repressed in their lifestyle, they're going to be emotionally affected. That's where we get, again, the spectrum of people who are completely depressed and they don't know what to do with their lives. They're stressed out watching the news all day. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Their immune system physically now, it's being broken down. It's being suppressed. It's being, just deteriorated. Whereas, people who are spiritual or may have, positive, don't have to be spiritual per se, but just have a positive, understanding of reality. They're living, greater than before. And I'm going to bring something up right now after I'm done, because I want to ask you about this. We have to talk about this.
Okay.
But seriously, I think this is what's causing most of the illness that we're seeing. And of course, the people who benefit the most from this narrative, they're doing the best they can to portray that. Like kids are now getting Kawasaki related disease from COVID-19 or this and that. Like it could be true that this whole mental scenario that we have right now, this living standards, are destroying people's body because emotionally they're affected. They're fearful, they're angry, they're depressed. I mean, all these negative emotions are causing this. So that's another thing about this COVID-19. How are you going to survive it emotionally? It's going to
Yeah,
tell a lot about your body. And once we come out of this, because we will,
for sure.
we are going to have a different body. Maybe not the light body yet.
I
We're
hope
getting
so.
there.
Like pure crystal, like just shining bright. I would love that.
I don't know. I think I want to enjoy my third density body for a little bit longer.
Okay.
Hold on to the 4D. Hold on 4D, please.
Oh,
I want to enjoy this. But
okay.
this is what I wanted to ask you because we talked about it yesterday.
Yeah. Bring it on.
Right now we're living in chaos. We've been saying that through the whole 20 something minutes. Chaos, chaos, and confusion. But me
Yeah.
and you have been thriving in this.
Yeah.
How is it possible that me and you are thriving in this where, most people would think like, and then just we said, people are depressed and, anxious and all this stuff. How do you feel that this created like an opening for you and a sort of awakening in a sense?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I would much rather live in this time than I would live, and I think I said that to you yesterday, that I would live in the times that we came from, the old paradigm, so I said, because it was just, it was just this wheel around and like repetition of the same thing, and the status quo was like more dominating than ever, and like I was just not feeling comfortable in it because I was just walking as I was an alien in a sleeping world. So that this suddenly happens and it's creating this dynamic that I can finally feel myself. I there's something in me that is like burning for life, and kind of like this global purge that I just feel. And it's not only me, it's like everybody, like also them, the people who's sleeping. I can feel everything, and it's like it's an amazing energy field that is going on right now, and it's a huge awakening, and I'm thriving in it. And I'm not attached to all these bad things. Of course I can feel them sometimes, and I'm getting a little bit, this is evil, this is hard. But then again, at least I'm feeling something, and that's just amazing to like feel that there is a shift coming. And I don't know, I'm just thriving. I can't remember what exactly I said yesterday, but how did you thrive? Like, why do you thrive in this? Because sometimes it can sound crazy when you say, I love this time, and people is looking at you, what, how can you love this time? And I'm like, well, I don't know, but I just feel so much love, and I don't know how, but it's just a feeling, and I don't understand it, but I'm conscious about it.
I think is how invested we have been in this reality in the past. And that's the thing.
True.
You are known for the black sheep movement. What is a black sheep? Somebody who doesn't belong there. I was called a rebellious all my life. So I never actually fit in. So people bring an example easily, and I'll get a little bit into my past, my childhood actually. But people who love going to bars, and that's all their life, bars, sports, hanging out with friends or going to whatever, they need that to feel alive. Then people like that may be having a hard time right now because that's broken down to them, and they need to cope with this reality right now. We who have not been invested in this world too much, we enjoy seeing this breakdown because it brings the possibility of something new. I think that's the biggest motivation we have. Biggest
Yeah.
motivation is that we know that the old, which didn't fit or we didn't fit into, is breaking down so we can build something new. And every time there is something like that, we get a little, like push inside, a little fire that burns. And I'll give you a couple of examples. I'm going back to my childhood really quick. I lived in Venezuela, where there was in the 90s a couple of coups that almost, broke down the regime at the time. And people who know about Chavez, they know, what I'm talking about, because he was the one who became president afterwards. And not gonna dive into this, but the thing is that whenever there were two in '92, two coups, and they were essentially something exciting for me. I was a kid. I was only 10 years old, not even 9 years old. But to me, it was very exciting because First, I didn't have to go to school. That was amazing, and I mean, that speaks a lot. Like, I didn't want to be indoctrinated in this, stupid education. And, I also felt that something was going to change. Like, some radical change was going to happen, because I just didn't feel well in the city. I live in the capital. This whole, regime, something inside felt like, I don't know, it wasn't good. And every time I saw a breakdown of society, I felt good inside. And it's not, I don't think it's something sadistic. People see it sadistic, then so be it. But to
Yeah.
me, it's just, the possibility of building something new. It's like crying over a house that you're tearing down. I mean, it's no longer serving. Let's build a new one. So I think that's why I feel so alive in the situation, and why
So
this is so important, for people to start seeing it that way. Out
it's
with the old, in with
yeah.
the new.
For sure, it's a huge, huge opportunity for humanity to choose a new path of creating a new life and creating a more sustainable life for both us and our surroundings and our nature. So, like, instead of seeing this as like the biggest crisis ever and it's really worse, like, I really invite people to see it as a great opportunity for change and a great opportunity for forming a new life that is more suitable for the human soul and not the human mind. So yeah,
Agreed. All right, you want to
we
wrap this up?
should celebrate.
Yes. Let's wrap this up with the
Yeah.
most important thing that we have been promising and talking about: our stance in spirituality, and the fact that, and I'll ask you this question and then we can finish up, because this is the question that is looming in everybody's mind. What if any outcome? What if we go back to normality, which we won't, because I know it, but what if we go back to normality? Or what if we, spiral down into chaos, vaccines, monitoring? Or what if, we all die, or whatever the case, the most grim scenario? Why are you not bothered by any of those outcomes?
I'm not bothered because I'm not attached to this physical reality of my body. I will say, I will not say that I'm completely there what regards that, but I have really used the last year to detach myself from my personality and my body and this vessel, because I know it's only a split of second I'm here in this vessel. And I can, this body will rot anyway. Like, put vaccine in, it doesn't matter. I will though still fight for it, but in the end it doesn't matter, because like I want to be there where I'm not, like, I have nothing to lose. And I want to be there where I just meet it in a space of, instead of all these low frequencies, vibration thoughts, I want to be and meet everything in love. And like, just, it doesn't matter, as long as I just have the love in it. That's all there is for me. So this is just a vessel, and inside I am, and inside my energy is. So they can't kill my energy, they can't kill my soul, they can't take my soul if I say no, or if I protect myself, or if I take responsibility for myself and know my soul. So they can take anything else, but my soul, no, like, that's not going to happen, and I know that.
I agree 100% with that. And you know it. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna add in something else for the people watching.
Yeah,
Is
please.
this is where it really gets good. People sometimes think that if we get to that point, like you're saying, I don't care about my body, in that sense, I don't. It's not about the body; it's about the identity of self and what may happen to me.
Mhm.
If people see that in theory or in text, it sounds like you don't care about what happens, and that's going. People are going to take advantage of you. You are susceptible to being prey by others. But the opposite is the truth. And tell me if I'm wrong. The more detached you are from your identity, from the ego mind, the better your life is. Am I
For sure.
right?
You're totally right. For sure.
So I think that's what people should, start thinking and enjoying in life. That, the more detached we are from our body and identity of self, then and this whole thing, just we're gonna get through this faster, easier, and full of joy and love and happiness, like you said.
Yeah, it's why COVID-19 is here, is for this. Like, so yeah, it will
I'm
come
grateful
again.
for it.
Yeah.
All right, I think that wraps it up.
Beautiful, Brosis.
Thank you for
So
doing this.
yeah, but let's just wrap up. We will every Friday be live here. This was just like an intro, say hi. This is what we want to talk about. And it will, as we already said, it will be from everything from conspiracy theories to the spirituality. But in the end, like the goal is to reunite all these things in the name of love, right?
That's right.
Without the
Pure
fear,
love.
without the anger, without the frustration, but bring something else to the table and not, buy all these information, but serve it in a more divine way.
Yeah. Especially that.
Yeah.
Explaining what love is and how unconditional love to everything is what just makes you live a better life, even in
Yeah.
this situation.
Yeah. Exactly. And we will have a YouTube. I think the YouTube channel is up. It's the Viking Brosis. So go in and subscribe for getting the notification about every Friday. And people can always, like, I'm thinking also about this. This is also about interacting. So whenever we start and we're more further in the process, people is welcome to interact and ask questions and bring something that they want to listen to or hear about. We are so open to all kind of subject. Like we're open to everything, right? I mean,
Yes, absolutely. From the most trivial stuff to the most crazy things that you can imagine. Whatever it is, there's no filters here.
no,
We have no filters.
exactly. And our goal is also to have some guests here. And we will be talking a little bit about that in the later on, I think, right?
Yeah, for
Just
sure.
to, just to say hi to all of you guys out there.
Yeah. I love this.
Yeah, I love this.
Can't wait for next Friday.
I know. Beautiful.
All
Cool.
right. This is
So
it for now.
this is it for now. And all of the people who is watching and have watched, thank you. We see you next Friday.
Next Friday.